In our analysis, we will start with a short summary of Michelle Obama's speech. Then we will explain the rhetorical situation, who the sender is, the receiver, and what the context is, and why she wrote the speech. Then we will take a look of the rhetorical modes, is it pathos, logos, or ethos. Then an analysis of the composition, language, and tone in the speech, and in the end we have found some examples where she has used some rhetorical devices.
The speech is mainly about the need to raise the amount of people completing college in America. Michelle talks about how America was once number 1 in college graduating, but that they now are down to being number 14th. Michelle and Barack therefore planned out the 2020 plan, where they would do all they could to make it possible for everyone to get a chance at a higher education. She also talks about her own life experience, how she got into Princeton University, and how she reached her goal. She talked about everything that was in her way and what she did to work around it. She also states a very important thing, that you, the student, are the number 1 person responsible for your own education and where you end up in life.
The text is a speech. Michelle Obama, she is a lawyer and former First Lady in the US. She went to Princeton University and Harvard Law School. The receivers are the students at Columbia Heights Education Campus. They are students so they can relate to her speech and hopefully get some motivation from her. The speech was presented to a number of students at Columbia Heights. The speech was written to inform the students about the 2020 plan, but also to motivate them to do their best and let them know that anything is possible as long as you are willing to work hard for it. Michelle Obama can have had a big influence on a lot of the students because she is a known person, which many look up to. In that way we can make an influence. The text was written to tell the attendants what she and Barack has achieved while they were President and First Lady, and the students need to continue to fight for their education even after high school. She wants the students to take control over their education and commitment. She makes the students feel like they mean something and have influence by saying, no matter what the president does, no matter what your teachers and principal does, or whatever is going on your home, or in your neighborhood, the person with the biggest impact on your education is you. It's that simple. It is you, the student.
The sender tries to convince us of the message by using pathos. She is very aware of the fact that high school students may be tired, stressed and exhausted, and tries very always to motivate them by telling them how important school and education is and how a good education can bring them success later on in their lives so they can provide for their families. She makes them feel special when she says, and I wanted to come here today because you guys and students like you across America are the heart to one of my husband's most important goals as a president. Line 23 to 25. There are also other examples of Michelle using ethos, for example when she says, like Barack growing up, I consider myself pretty lucky. Even though my parents didn't have a lot of money, they never went to college themselves, they had an unwavering belief in the power of education. So they always pushed me and my brother to whatever it took to succeed in school. So when it came time for me to go to high school, they encouraged me to enroll in one of the best schools in Chicago. It was a school a lot like this one. By saying that, she makes it personal and tries to tell the students that she was just like them.
The speech follows the classical suspense curve. It starts at the bottom with Michelle greeting the students and builds up some suspense and some interest when she talks about how she reached her goal, where she at the end rounded it off beautifully by saying that is how she and Menbere, who is a person the students can relate to, how they did it. The events in the speech are told with flashbacks as we look back at how Michelle got to where she is today. The language used in the speech is both somewhat formal and somewhat informal. Michelle speaks especially in the beginning like you would a friend or someone else you know. There aren't used a lot of difficult words or phrases. Later, when she speaks about the 2020 plan, she speaks a little bit more formal about the plan and the project to get more people into college. There are used standard regular English, and no dialect or other influence. The tone in the text is quite happy, and Michelle also does mention that she's proud of the school. But it is also somewhat serious when she talks about the 2020 plan and her talking about her struggles in her younger life.
Michelle is using parallelism in her speech in some sections where she repeats a phrase in the beginning of a clause. An example is on page 2, line 43 and forward. She says, they've been fighting, a new clause, they've been working, and a new clause with they've been working. She also uses parallelism when she says, we're going to talk about, which she says 3 times in a row. In the ending of the speech, is she using direct address? She says, you might be dreaming of becoming, and you might not know. When she uses you, she can draw the students into the context.
In short, the speech is written and presented by Michelle Obama, and she speaks to all the students at Columbia Heights Education Campus. She wrote the speech to inform about the 2020 plan and to motivate them to aim for college. She uses pathos to convince the students through her own life story.
She also uses ethos when she refers to Membera have going through the same as herself, and Membera is the person that everyone on the campus trusts and can relate to. It follows the classic suspense curve, and there are also flashbacks, and the language used are somewhat formal as well as somewhat neutral. The tone is quite happy but also with a serious message.